The problem started at the plant after it lost the power to keep feeding the reaction and storage pools with water. When the cooling systems shut down, experts immediately began looking for ways to connect the plant to outside power sources. A number of options were considered. Experts have decided on an idea that came to them in an emergency drill conducted at the No. 5 reactor last November.
This is a video and training conducted based on the fact that the cooling function had been compromised.
But this time around, it wasn't one reactor, but all 6 that lost power. 4 also lost their emergency backup power, something the plant's operators never thought could happen. Ryuichi Shimada, professor at the Tokyo Institute of Technology, says nobody had ever expected problems on this scale. He says he can't imagine how to go about dealing with them, and he says the people at the plant will also have been baffled as to what should be done. In today's plan, work is divided into 3 tasks. 1, to restore cables at No. 1 and No. 2 reactors. Another at the No. 3 and 4 reactors, and repairs to the power system at No. 5 and 6 reactors. For the No. 3, 4, 5 and 6 reactors, workers plan to use cables originally installed to send out power generated at the plant. The plan is to use it as a power source by drawing electricity from outside sources. The utility company is rushing to first finish restoration of the power system at the No. 2 reactor. Why does the company give higher precedence to the No. 2 reactor, although its building has hardly been damaged? The Nuclear and Industry Safety Agency official says it's because the building is undamaged. It's difficult to put water into it from outside. He says it's necessary to restore the cooling system by repairing the power system. About 20 people are working on the No. 2 reactor. Electricity from outside power sources reaches the reserve transformer on the ground. A power cable is to be laid over a distance of 1.5 kilometers to reach a temporary transformer near the reactor building. Workers plan to lay the cable through the buildings of the No. 1 and 3 reactors to connect it to another transformer in the No. 2 reactor. This way, they plan to send electric power to all 6 reactors. Restoration work at the damaged plant faces a number of problems. The biggest issue is how to shield workers from radiation. Radiation of 10 millisieverts per hour has been observed near the No. 1 reactor and 15 millisieverts per hour near the No. 2 reactor. This Tokyo Electric Power Company official says the operation must be carried out based on levels of radiation observed in place. Workers involved are required to put on protective gear. The maximum tolerable amount of radiation each worker is to be exposed to during one stint is set at 100 millisieverts. It's hard work carried out in the dark, in a race against time. The restoration of power does not resolve the whole problem. Most of the motors and switchboards at the plant have been submerged by the tsunami and they cannot be used. Thorough examination must be carried out to determine whether there is a leakage of electricity and whether some machines and switchboards remain usable. If there are problems, work is necessary to replace unusable motors with new ones and rearrange the joints of the switchboards.